Їх тут 35-ка нормальна крепа.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has reportedly dismissed the commander in charge of the Russian Dnipro grouping of forces after Ukrainian forces last week crossed the Dnipro River and dug in, establishing a bridgehead. The Kremlin has not commented on the reports, but one Russian mill blogger said Colonel General Oleg Makarevich was replaced due to a discrepancy between reports on the situation that came from military intelligence and that being reported through the command of the Dnipro Group. Another said his dismissal may have been due to his extreme lack of initiative of the command in this direction, ignoring the situation on the ground and sweeping what is happening under the carpet. They added, "This attitude resulted in constant enemy landings on the bank of the Dnipro under our control, consolidating it in some positions and conducting sabotage raids inland." Ukrainian Marines were, according to reports, digging in newly captured positions on the mostly Russian-held east side of the Dnipro River, with Kremlin-associated sources confirming that the crossings took place, but vowing Russian airstrikes and counterattacks would destroy the bridgeheads. Ukrainian amphibious troops had over 24 hours occupied the village of Krinky, some 1 mile inland from the Dnipro in Ukraine's Kherson region, both Russian and Ukrainian military information platforms said. Russian troops were thin on the ground in the area, so the Kremlin was hitting the 20-man Ukrainian detachment in Krinky with bombs and shells, pro-Moscow sources said. Ukrainian military bloggers citing accounts from Marines on the ground said Kiev troops now were holding positions successfully around 3 communities on the left bank of the southern-flowing Dnipro River, Krinky, Pidstepne, and Pishchanivka. According to previous armed forces of Ukraine reports, Ukrainian commandos have operated on the Dnipro River left bank since at least May, at times ambushing Russian troops and convoys. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Makarevich's reported dismissal indicates that the Kremlin or the Russian military command may be sufficiently worried and skeptical of his ability to repel recent larger-than-usual Ukrainian ground operations in East or Left Bank, Kherson Oblast. Another mill blogger said Makarevich had been replaced by Commander Colonel General Mikhail Teplinsky. Teplinsky made headlines in August when the Kremlin had to scramble to remove a video posted online by its own defense ministry in which he revealed the number of soldiers in an elite unit wounded during the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. In the video, Teplinsky said that 8,500 of Russia's airborne forces paratroopers have been wounded since February of last year. And this are Ukrainian units at the settlement of Krinky. There is enough evidence that Ukrainian forces successfully crossed the Dnipro River at multiple points. Among them is the settlement of Krinky. This is in line with claims from Russian sources, as well as the fact that the Russian commander of this sector, Colonel General Makarevich, has been removed from command.
Загнати цього ворога до себе туди в будку. Ми любимо свою країну. Що я вам скажу, хлопці? Слава Україні, слава морській піхоті! Героям слава!
Russian serviceman Vozak Z, who is involved in the Avdiivka battle, describes the meat assault strategy and why it was adopted, primarily due to the lack of any artillery preparation on the Russian side. Meat assault. The guys from my company asked me to write this post. I am not a supporter of writing about failures and losses because this works into the hands of the Germans, Ukrainians. But the situation is tense. So, what is meat assault? This is any assault by infantry forces without artillery support, without suppressing enemy firing points. Why is this happening? Mostly due to the lack of means of suppression, or the inability to properly manage them. When 2 regiments attack side by side, the junction between them is practically unsecured. Everyone hopes for their neighbor, or one has tanks and artillery and the other doesn't. But the order to take the fortification is there. Now the situation in our sector is such that we cannot reach small arms firing distance. We are being exhausted with mortars and AGS on the way. Our tanks start work. Enemy kamikazes immediately look for them. hence the group's losses at the exit. This is meat assault in its most uncomplicated form. The result is 0. And we are trying to come to an agreement with the neighbors. We ask them to support us when the assault starts. We come up with a wonder waffle to launch it towards the Germans' fortification. But we just need sensible artillery preparation. And everyone understands this. Even the Germans in our sector understand this. We are similar in psychotype. We stand to the end, we don't give up. We call each other F-Gots on the air. There is a distant guess that all our attacks are in order to exhaust them, and then the regulars will come in and finish the job with a powerful blow. Hope is on God, as long as our regiment does not finish while the regulars are marching. What do the events at Makhachkala airport reveal? The Russian Guards, Rosgvardia, headed by Valery Zolotov, have a special status among other security agencies of the Russian Federation. It was this agency that received the heavy equipment of Wagner PMC. It is believed that Putin considers them his Praetorian Guard, guards from the Roman Empire that served to emperors. But it's one thing to disperse lone picketers and another thing to confront a mad crowd in a region that is not so peaceful. During yesterday's pogrom at Makhachkala airport, it looks like Rosgvardia demonstrated complete paralysis to the sudden riots. Law enforcers were unable to stop the crowd's intrusion into the airfield, as a result of which 9 airport employees were injured and 1 policeman was killed. This is not the first time that the Rosgvardia has had the real opportunity to demonstrate its power. But, as previously, it ended in embarrassment. In the summer of 2023, Zolotov's department was supposed to stop Prigozhin's mutineers, but could not really do anything about them. Already after the mutiny, the Rosgvardia head's statements that the mutineers would not have taken Moscow sounded pathetic and ridiculous. Even earlier, in February 2022, Rosgvardia officers went to occupy Ukraine in police vans. Apparently, Zolotov thought that his subordinates would suppress scattered pockets of nationalist resistance. As a result, the department suffered the largest single loss in its history, 550 people. In Makhachkala, the Rosgvardia showed its inability to suppress real mass unrest. This cannot but inspire those who want to repeat Prigozhin's march on Moscow or some similar course of action.
Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you wanna support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.